brought to you by Google Play. Thanks, Google Play. And now, thanks to Stoic, because he's about to get us into our final quarterfinals.
That's right. You said it. Final quarterfinals. Here we go, guys. We've got Xere. We've got Mr.Chung. Pre-bans are coming out here. Gianna and Ragdoll getting pre-banned. Interesting. Xere with the first pick.
And I think at some point the Vigor is going to be a key unit. It's very good in a lot of Xere's units, so it has to be on his radar here. At the same time, he has to know he's also weak to a Xere a lot of times. So look to see Mr.Chung gravitate towards that if he has a very well-runed and tanky Xere.
And Ganny and Vigor are going to be the response after seeing that Hathor. Xere with 2 units here. Maybe even dig into his opponent's box to draft next.
And I would like to see a Xere coming out of Xere here. I don't think he drafts that often. But there we go. We see a Xere coming out, and I would like to see some other damage unit, and that's exactly what we see. We see a Barber allows him to be open-ended with this draft to be able to seal it off with more damage at the end or more control.
Ooh, we're going to be seeing a Praha in Veligil being drafted by Mr.Chung. I love seeing the Praha.
So the Praha on the Veligil makes him a little damage light, but again, he's exploiting the fact that Xere doesn't have immunity. I'd like to see aggression, some sort of a Chiwu, maybe even a Chung Pung would be super interesting here with a ban onto the Veligil. Either way, I don't think Xere is backing down. I see that aggression. I like that in the comps where, like what you see from Mr.Chung, where he's going very laid back, very low in speed. Basically, Xere is going to be able to tee off on Mr.Chung, and Chiwu is now a force ban. Otherwise, this game is going to be over off the bat.
Very aggressive coming out of Xere, wrapping up his draft with that Chiwu and the Savannah. After seeing those 2 units coming out, Mr.Chung looking to respond with just 1 last unit.
Yeah, so Mr.Chung really needs to know that he's facing a lot of aggression. Chiwu is the force ban here, so he's going to need to take out that Chiwu. Goes with the Terranese. I'm not sure the Terranese is the answer. He's telling us that both Beast Riders are going to be left in the game. I'm not sure about that. If I'm Xere, I'm thinking about maybe taking out the Veligil, or maybe taking out the Ganymede. Most likely the Veligil, given the fact that that's immunity. Does take out the Veligil, takes out the Chiwu as expected. It's a lot of damage coming out from Xere's side.
Yep, bans have gone out. We got a speed lead coming out for Xere, a resistance lead coming out for Chung. He's going to have to resist a lot of nonsense coming from Xere, but let's go, guys. We have our first match between Mr.Chung and Xere. First turn is going to be on Barbara.
So first turn is going to be on Barbara. Everything's on Will, which is not exactly what you want to see when you're a first turn player here. Xere's going to have some decisions to make because that Praha might be able to put his entire team to sleep. That is a very huge resist.
That was a big resist. Barbara was able to get that strip onto the Praha. Hathor not so lucky, looking for that strip onto the Ganymede. Defense break is sitting on top of the Praha. Bomb does come out. The revive can happen with this Wind Druid, though.
Yeah, but tempo is going to change a lot because that Ganymede does have skill 3 up. But again, Mr.Chung just lost a unit. He's going to be able to revive it, but he's going to be down 3 units to 4.
Let's see if he uses the second skill before reviving his unit with that Wind Druid. No, chooses to go for a shred. Can he land the defense break? And he does land that 3-turn defense break on top of Barbara.
Yeah, and I think Mr.Chung is basically going to go to take out that Barbara first and then work his way around the table. That Hathor does not have any skills up, so at this point, I actually really like Mr.Chung's spot here.
Yep, definitely. Seal of Magic did go out into the Hathor. You can see the revive coming back with that Praha. Additional turns coming out of Hathor, looking for an attack break onto the Vigor. And now we see that second skill getting a little bit of sustain back on top of Praha.
Yeah, we see that Praha is going to be able to put Xere's team to sleep here. That defense break on that Barber is huge because that Barber is going to be dismounted soon. Savannah's a little bit away from getting its skills up again. So Xere's going to need a few procs on this Xere to be able to get himself back in the game.
That's right. You saw the Ventilate go back onto that Wind Druid, and you can see Praha coming in to put everybody to sleep. Not landing that sleep, though, onto the Ciara. Possible Wild Blow coming out here. Putting that Wild Blow, dropping the Barber right off the beats, get additional turns, gets stunned up as well.
Yeah, not landing that sleep on Xere is huge because Xere is going to be able to lay a lot of bombs, and that's exactly how Xere needs to come back here. Xere does lose a unit, though, so he's in a lot of trouble.
That's right. Ganymede was able to drop that Barbara, and things not looking good for Xere at all. Applying a little bit of damage there on to the, I believe it was the Wind Druid.
Yeah, Xere's going to need that Savannah to proc a lot. That Hathor does have skill 3 up in 2 turns, but he needs to lock down this Ganymede because Ganymede's going to be able to reset a unit, but unfortunately does not get the sleep onto that Ganny there.
That's right, that resistance lead finally coming into play, like we all hope to have it work out for ourselves when we're playing. Looking for a defense break on a CR, not receiving it here. Better's Cry gets the sustain and the anti-crit as well.
Yeah, and that's pretty massive proc there because that speed buff is going to allow Mr. Chung to lap Xere over and over again. So Xere does have 3 wind units, but he doesn't have heals. Not quite tanky enough to survive, and that Tyrannus does a ton of damage.
Yep, looking very good for Mr. Chung right now. Xere most definitely on the back foot with just 2 units left here. Gandy possibly looking to apply a glancing onto this Savannah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what he's planning on doing, this game's pretty much over. Xere being knocked out or losing this match early, kind of surprising here. Went with a very aggressive draft, did not pan out. I think it came down to Mr. Chung being fully on will here, taking Xere by surprise, and Xere was not able to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, Mr. Chung not needing to use any skills here, just skill wanting this Savannah, just trying to take care of this unit, knock it off the beast. It's going to move on with his defense breaks once it gets knocked off as well. No additional turns coming out here.
Yeah, Mr. Chung could just be using skill 1 for the rest of this match and he would still win. He does not need skills 2 or 3. That's how heavily he won this match.
That's right. There you see the sleep, the landing on top of Ganny. Savannah crossing her fingers for absolutely anything here. Gets defense breaks on everybody except the Praha and that Wind Druid.
There's praying for a proc here. Does not get the proc. Rolls his eyes as if he should have gotten that proc, but did not happen anyways. I don't see this happening in his favor, but he's still trudging along. Credits for him to sticking in a losing match.
Yes, definitely. So he was able to drop that Ganny. Still has to deal with this Wind Druid, though. The Wind Druid with the Soul Protects on himself, though. Possibly looking for a stun or even to remove this Savannah from the field. Chooses to go with a Wild Blow on its Savannah, and this is enough to finish off that unit. This is going to be it for Xere in round 1. There you have it, Mr. Chung taking round 1.
Very interesting draft there. Mr. Chung going with a turn 2 team, actually being fully on will, and that Praha being buffed up recently meant that put Xere in a really weird spot where once Xere lost his full team strip, he really didn't have the ability to lock down enough units and take over the game. Without an interesting choice, a skill 3 on that Praha off the bat instead of going for the skill 2 on the Ganny, putting it to sleep. But I guess he was scared of that Praha putting his entire team to sleep. But then once his Hathor got reset, that was it.
Yep, there's the pre-bans from last time. We're going into the round 2 with Mr. Chung and Xere. Maybe we're going to see a change of pace coming out of Xere. Pre-bans here are going to be Ganymede and Molly getting pre-banned.
Interesting choice here, taking out the Molly, but I guess that tells us Mr. Chung wants to go full on aggression, is probably going to lean into some sort of Sierra first pick even to synergize with that Gianna. Hathor is perfectly fine as well, does not need a Sierra, and I would expect Xere to respond with some sort of a Sierra and maybe an Okeanos of some sort.
Well, let's see what Xere's going to do after responding to this Hathor. He's hover over in a Ragdoll. Definitely didn't need to pick that first, but he's going to be bringing it out here with a Fran.
Not sure about the Ragdoll so early. I don't think Mr. Chung has that Ragdoll. And Ragdoll's not exactly the best into a Hathor all the time. It's not exactly a bad unit. Still very strong unit. Never really a bad time to take Ragdoll. But it allows your opponent to take things like Vigor, which is very good under Ragdoll. Sierra, which is decent. So look to see Mr. Chung press the aggression more. I don't think a Gianna's going to be laid down here. It's not a great pick in the Ragdoll. But again, who knows in this tournament today.
Well, after seeing Ragdoll Fran coming out, Gianna Vigor's the response coming out of Mr. Chung.
So I guess Gianna's so powerful that you're comfortable laying it into a Ragdoll. That's how powerful Gianna is on the ladder and in any situation, in any draft. Very, very powerful unit. Xere, of course, then leaning in with the Sierra. I would like to see him take one more, maybe like an Okeanos or some sort of, or a healing unit is okay. Tetra's very decent pick here. Basically says that he's going to let this Gianna through.
Yep, that's right. Sierra Tetra coming out for Xere. 2 last picks coming out of Mr. Chung. He's going to be wrapping up his draft here after seeing Sierra Tetra.
Yeah, and at this point, Xere is looking to ban that Vigor. That Hathor and that Gianna don't exactly do much into his comp here. But of course, if you add in a Vertihile does a ton with Hathor in there. So kind of a dicey situation. I think Vigor might still be the ban, but it's probably looking more towards one of the last 2 picks that he laid down. But that Vigor is going to do a lot of work on the side of Mr. Chung.
Unit of choice for Xere. He's looking at locking in a Josephine after seeing a Vertihile and a Veladjul. And chooses to
we're gonna
lock in that Josephine.
And I think we're going to see a ban on the Veligil here or the Vigor here. I think it's more likely the Veligil because Xere does not really have a good stripper. Does not take out the Veligil. Interesting choice here. But again, also interesting to note that Gianna and Veligil don't really synergize well because of the amount of turns that Gianna rotates by. But that Verd and Hathor are going to be quite scary to deal with. But again, all Xere needs to do is survive because he has a lot of healing on his side, and Mr. Chung does not.
Well, we've got a speed lead on Xere's side of the field. Can he take first turn here over Mr. Chung? And that's a very fast Tetra looking to strip the immunity off of that Gianna as well.
Yeah, that's a very, very fast Tetra and actually disrupts the turn order of Mr. Chung. I'm not sure if he wanted to do that per se, because now it allows Gianna to just kind of throw the bomb down. But either way, he's done that, and Gianna, he's going to be on.
Yeah, Mr. Chung was able to get the full team sleep here. Obviously, Josephine's passive is going to be proccing up. Shield's coming up on absolutely everybody. Veligil can go for cleanse and immunity, and chooses to go for a punishment onto the CR with the shield.
Interesting choice to go after the Ciara here. That bomb's not really going to be detonated, but at this point here, because of that Tetra, but at this point here, that means that Xere also can't quite drop a bomb of its own, otherwise it would detonate. So interesting choice of bomb there, but at this point, also Mr. Chung doesn't have heals on his team.
Yep, you can tell the unit of focus is the CR. He's really trying to get this unit down. Another bomb coming out on top of CR. Obviously, those bombs are not going to be detonating because of the passive of the Tetra.
Yeah, and that Xere actually revenge proc there, so that Xere procs or takes too many turns. It could actually outpace the Tetra, which would be highly unlucky for Xere. So Xere's probably praying that his Xere is not on violent for once.
Well, we'll see. You can see punishments coming out on CR. CR looking a little low right now, looking to plant a bomb, but it would actually detonate himself. That was a very interesting play coming out of Xere.
And Xere, I guess, is forced in a situation where he knows that the auto attack, the attack bar gained from the auto attack would push him up in front of the Tetra anyways, decides that that's it to Sierra. So I guess bringing in the Tetra to prevent a death doesn't mean very much because that Sierra wasn't able to survive anyways.
Well, there you have it. New unit focus is going to be that Fran. You can see additional turns coming out of this Verdi heal. Not getting stunned up due to the immunity. Ooh, wow, all the additional turns coming out there, and the Fran's no longer going to be stunned up.
Yeah, and this is a match in which Xere actually does not want to ruin his units on Violent because you don't want a Violent in front of that Tetra, otherwise you eat a bomb, and that's exactly what happened to the Fran there. So Fran's actually vulnerable, and Mr. Chung is probably going to take advantage of that.
Well, we're going to find out here. Possibly looking for a provoke. No, choosing to go for more damage and landing that provoke onto the Verdi heal.
Yeah, it does do a ton of damage. Mr. Chung does not have the ability to heal, and that's a very big shield on that Fran. So all Xere needs to do is survive and live longer.
Yep, there you go. So the the sleep is coming out from the Hathor. Unit of focus is going to be trying to drop this Fran first. And we're going to get an attack break here on top of Fran. Can he land it? He does land it, but we do have cleanse and immunity that can come up for Xere.
Yeah, Xere does have a lot of healing. That Tetra, especially with the artifacts boosting skill 3 recovery, does improve its ability to heal a lot, so Xere becomes a lot tankier, but at the same time, that Vertihile pumps his team up, and Veligil does a ton of damage.
Yeah, that's right. That double cleanse came out. Fran to Tetra, Tetra to Josephine. Josephine looking to drop this Verdi heal as soon as possible. Hathor looking for an attack break on top of the Fran, not receiving it, not receiving that attack break, but that's not going to matter. Verdi heal is going to be dropping that Fran.
Yeah, and Xere does not look too happy about this match here. He's actually still in a decent spot here. He does have heals, does have a Josephine, which does beat out Vertihile, but at the same time, Mr. Chung needs to find a way to take out some of the damage on Xere's side, but I really like Xere's spot.
Yep, 2 water units looking very strong against those 2 fire units. Hathor really not able to do too much with this Tetra and a Josephine combination. Xere's able to drop that Verdi heal with the Josephine. Might be seeing a big punishment coming out of this Veligil.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why Mr. Chung was never laying attack break onto the Josephine. Typically, your Tetra's not ruined on damage, but in my world, Josephine is ruined on damage, so maybe it's a new strategy from that region where you lay the attack debuff on the Tetra instead of the Josephine. So either way, maybe Mr. Chung is content to take more damage from this Josephine.
Well, no provoke's going to be landed on top of that Veligil. Attack break sitting on top of this Tetra. Tetra's not going to be doing too much here. Poke damage coming onto the Veligil. Veligil popping Sanctuary, boosting attack bars, getting that 3-turn immunity.
Yeah, Tetra not going to be doing a lot, but all it needs to do is passively heal. Mr. Chung does need that Veladrol to get incredibly lucky and crit a few times. This Josephine does not have attack break on it, so it's going to be able to do a ton of damage.
Here comes the punishment onto the Josephine, not dealing a lot of damage with that shield on top of it. And for skill 2, does put that Josephine down. Veladrol looking to pummel as much damage as possible on top of this Josephine. Ooh, Hathor getting some additional turns, gets the attack breaks as well. Is it going to be enough? Looking to deal a little bit of damage to that Veladrol.
The attack break does do a lot here because that Josephine did not do a lot of damage, but at the same time, again, Mr. Chung is slowly being whittled down. Xere does have a lot of healing online.
Yeah, Mr. Chung choosing to actually concede this match. Xere is going to be taking round 2. Wow. Long match, too. Very long match between the two of them.
Long match, and actually, I would say Xere got quite unlucky there. I mean, if there's ever a time you don't want to proc, that would be it. And if for some reason his units decided that they needed to proc every single time that match, and so that Xere blown up off the bat, had to detonate itself, just decided to throw the bomb as a parting gift. But Xere was still able to hold through because Mr. Chung just did not bring enough burst, did not bring enough damage on his side to be able to take out Xere's units.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that we're seeing a game of counter picks, right? In the first game, Tyrannies came out a little bit later and provided that insurance policy onto the Barbara and the Xere. But in this game here, Tetra coming out and kind of being a nuisance against Gianna and slowing down in that 2v2. And as you said, just slowly whittled down the composition of Mr. Chung, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Tetra with its skill 3 passive, give healing by 10% every time. And at the same time, artifacts boosting skill 3 recovery makes Tetra actually do something for once. Unfortunately, right, the units proccing means that those units like Xere were taking more turns in that Tetra. So the bombs are able to go off. So the whole point of bringing Tetra really is for that passive where you lengthen cooldowns and debuffs and whatnot, or shorten them, right, depending on what they are. Didn't really get to be used as much. And so that Xere just kind of had to blow itself up, but that draft was just so much better on Xere's side that he was able to come back.
Yeah, so we had to take a short break to get the cameras back online so you could see the faces of the competition. And we're ready. Let's hop on into this decisive Game 3. Stoic, take it away.
All right, well, here we go, guys. We're going into a Game 3 between Mr. Chung and Xere. The pre-bans going into this match, Gianna and Ragdoll getting pre-banned, both LD Nat 5s.
Both LD Nat 5s and both at the very top of the overpowered list here. Gianna probably the most overpowered unit. Ragdoll probably just a hair underneath. You see very standard picks of that Hathor into Ganny Vigor as we saw in that first match.
Yep, Hathor getting first pick, quickly drafted by Ganymede and Vigor by Mr. Chung. Xere bringing back that Barbara Ciara. Mr. Chung looking to respond very quickly with that Veladrol and Tyrannies.
Very quick picks here, and Xere's actually could be facing the same issue he had in Game 1, in which once his AoE stripper goes out, he's in trouble. He really needed something like a Chung Peng, something that would provide him with another AoE strip and then control. Because at this situation here, once Chiwu gets banned out, you have Okeanos and you have Barbara, you're going to open up 2 holes, but if your opponent's on full will, you could be in some sort of trouble.
Definitely. Taking back that Okeanos, and I like the Okeanos originally, but he is going to be bringing out the Fran this time.
Yeah, I actually do like that Okeanos as well. I mean, he's going to be able to control 2 units and have the Barbara boost up, open up a hole, and have Xere detonate something. But then that Fran, I'm not sure what that Fran does, because the weakness of Fran is that you do get outpaced over time from that Vigor. So Vigor is weak to that Barbara and that Xere here, but Fran Chiwu together is a little bit of an odd pick.
Well, Mr. Chung wrapping up his draft. He's bringing in a Diana. Bans are going to be coming out shortly.
Yeah, and Xere had kind of angled his draft to take out that Veladrol, and now that Mr. Chung has taken a Diana, it's kind of scary. If I'm Mr. Chung, I'm a little scared, because if that Diana just get 1 proc and then Tyrannies goes off, you're in trouble. So not able to take out that Veladrol, and actually, interestingly enough, and not so interestingly enough, that Chiwu was not banned because that was not an Okeanos. It is a Fran. So taking out that Hathor, never wrong. Can't go wrong taking out that unit.
Yep, definitely can't. Speed lead coming out for Xere. Accuracy lead coming out for Mr. Chung. Guys, we're going into a round 3 between Mr. Chung and Xere. Let's go. First turn should be in Xere's side of the court with the Chiwu going for a full team strip.
Yeah, she was going for a full team trip, and you're going to see a lot of damage coming out from Barbara into Xere back-to-back here. So if Mr. Chung can survive that, he's got this game. If he loses one of his units like that Vigor off the bat, it could go the other way. It's going to be decided real quick.
Yep, you can see that AoE coming from Chiwu, pushing up that Diana to go first in front of everybody else. Crosses his fingers for a stun on a Ciara, not receiving it here. Barbara looking to deal some massive damage here onto the Veladriel. Gets that defense break, putting it down to half health.
Yeah, and once that Ciara lands a bomb, that could be the end of immunity here. And then that Barbara would be able to apply a lot more damage over the course of the game. So it all comes down to this bomb from Ciara onto that Veladriel.
Fran was able to get that additional turn. Attack break comes out on to the Vigor. Can he land the bomb? He does not land the bomb onto the Vela.
And you saw Mr. Chung with his two hands up actually praying to the skies above him, and he actually did get it. You saw that fist pump, so he knows he has this one in the bag because he was able to get that huge resist on that Veladriel.
Really was a huge resist there. I'm pretty sure he went with an accuracy lead. Feels like a resist lead at this point. Veladriel getting a full cleanse and attack bar boost.
Yeah, so highly unfortunate for Xere. It really does come down to that window. If you're able to take out that Veladriel, you do have that game in the bag. But unfortunately not able to get that, so we're just going to watch a Diana, a Ganny, and a Vigor just basically take apart that Barbara and Xere.
Diana looking for a stun. Doesn't need the stun because he's going to get the additional turn to do damage all over again. This Barbara is getting knocked right off the beast. We're going to see it transform one more time. Possible stun coming out. And there you have it. Barbara is going to be down here. Vega looking to drop this Barbara and does so.
Yeah, and I don't care how good that Ciara is, it is not coming back. There's too much immunity on Mr. Chung's side with the Ganymede, basically ensuring that this immunity is going to be up for the rest of this match here. Xere's basically chances at SWC are over.
Right, I mean, you can see the two-turn sleep coming out from Chi, who chooses to wake it up anyways, but Veladriel got the ventilate, so it has that 3-turn immunity attack bar boost once again.
Yeah, Mr. Chung being very patient, does not need to use skill 3 there, knowing that Xere's Ciara is reset, that Diana's in no trouble right now.
Yep, unit of focus right now is trying to drop that Ciara as soon as possible. Chiwu possibly looking for a second skill. No first skill. Cross his fingers for the sleep onto the Diana. Ciara looking to cycle a little bit of attack bar going after that Diana. Glancing not being applied is on revenge.
Yeah, is on revenge, but that pushes the Diana up, which is then going to eat away at Ciara's health, and that is the end of Ciara.
That is definitely going to be the end of not only Ciara, but I think Xere as well. Additional turns coming with this Fran, but no amount of additional turns are going to be saving it from this hungry Diana. Attack bar boost coming up. Choosing not to. The Diana was going to be taking a turn anyways.
Yeah, Diana here is just going to pummel damage over and over again. I mean, Mr. Chung can just relax and just heal up, use that vigor, use that speed buff, and just slowly take this game away. This Xere not very happy at all. Stroking, using his hands, stroking his chin, not happy about the situation, knows it's over.
Yep, there's the additional turns coming out of Ganny. More poke damage coming onto the Fran. Fran's going to choose to sustain itself. There it is. We're going to see a third skill, getting that cleanse on that Diana, pushing up those attack bars. We're going to deal more damage, possibly. No, choosing to go with the first skill onto the Fran. And here comes the onslaught of Diana. Can the Fran hold on? The Fran does hold on.
Yeah, it's holding on for one more turn, but it's going to be dead really soon here. We're just going through the motions here. Xere could see the door, see him out the door himself. He could click on that gear on the bottom left, finally see him.
And there you have it. Mr. Chung is taking that victory over Xere and moving forward. Big smile on his face for this one.
Yeah, and I mean, Mr. Chung employing the best strategy in Summoner's War. It's called RNG.